Being easily distracted is the mind's response to emptiness. So we can all agree that many people have a problem with their phone. But unlike what you might think, being distracted is not the problem, it's the consequence of a deeper crisis. We have called it emptiness, but we could also call it the crisis of meaning. So your phone addiction is just a facade hiding a deeper problem. Phone addiction is actually, or being distracted in general, is actually a response to a lack of meaning and purpose. So this is going to be a deep dive on how to face this problem. But if you want some hyper-stimulating content, go watch something else. You won't get the easy dopamine from this video. You'll only get some crazy ideas from a crazy dude on a whiteboard. So if you're fine with that, just keep watching. What if I told you that I can predict your destiny with just a single question? Well, you would ask what this question is. And this question is simply, what is the first thing you either do or see in the morning as soon as you wake up? And what is the last thing you see or do in the evening before you go to sleep? Why is this important? Well, because those two are the only moments in a day where you are actually truly alone with yourself, with your own thoughts. You're just by yourself with your internal landscape of thoughts, fears, worries, desires, anything that actually matters to you. You're not with other people. And even if you are with other people, you're just left alone with your own mind's content. So the morning and the evening just reveal what matters to you the most. But there's a problem, because if you are like 95% of people on Earth, you just look at your phone first thing in the morning and last thing before going to sleep. So you can notice a problem. Basically, you can tolerate the silence of your own mind because it reveals the sound of your own mind. And the sound of your mind is usually your thoughts. So if you're not fine with your thoughts, you are not fine with external silence, which reveals the sound of your mind. And so you try to fill your days with sounds from the environment. And this doesn't mean only sounds in this narrow sense. Sound is just a metaphor. So you basically provide yourself with distractions, and distractions are scrolling, looking to the news, consuming, in a word. Just making sure that you never encounter your inner silence. You always have something to process. You wake up, you reach for your phone, and all your desires, aspirations, greatest thoughts just suffocate in a sea of emptiness. Your mind is craving purpose. Instead, you are feeding it distractions. Now, this will sound extreme, but most people say that when they open their phone, they're just looking for a break. But let's go a little bit deeper. What does a break mean? Because you might think that taking a break means just a break from the activity this person is doing. If you use consumption as a way to break free from your activities, you're actually trying to break free from your whole life, not only from your whole identity. And why would it be so? Well, just like we said before, you can see this, you can clearly see this in the morning and in the evening, because those are the only two times in your day where you're just left alone with your own thoughts. And if you're fine with your thoughts in the morning and in the evening, if you're fine with your thoughts in general, if you can tolerate the silence of your own reality, which means if you can tolerate your own thoughts, you won't feel the need to break free. Never. And I don't say that you will not consume. But these are two very different things. Consuming because you want to consume, because you want to just give variety to your life is one thing, but consuming because you want a break from something usually means you want a break from your whole life and from your whole identity. So you can see that we are already digging deeper into the problem. It's not that you are distracted. The fact is you feel a void, and because you feel that void, you fill your days with distractions. So you being distracted is not the cause of your suffering, it's just the consequence. So I think you begin to understand the problem. And some people will say that all of this is a dopamine problem. But the narrative online about dopamine is way too simplistic. Dopamine is involved, but it's not the cause. Dopamine is just a mechanism through which some of these things work. So dopamine is for sure about addiction to literally anything. But it's not just about addiction. Dopamine is the molecule that motivates us to go from a state to another, to go from a specific situation to something we don't have. It's what motivates us to pursue literally anything. So you are in a specific place in reality and you want to go in another place. And the force that will make you go from A to B is dopamine. It's the way nature makes sure that we pursue stuff. And this stuff can be literally anything. The thing is, dopamine is not the problem. Because if this transformation is positive, dopamine is the best molecule in the world. But if this transformation, if what we are pursuing is the center of our addiction, then dopamine is a problem. So dopamine is not the reason why you are addicted. Dopamine is the mechanism through which you are addicted. But the thing is, you are addicted because there's a deeper problem that we are talking about right now, which is a lack of meaning. Now, before we go on, let me tell you something. Most people say that pleasure, looking for pleasure, pursuing pleasure, is rebellion. But the real rebellion in today's world, at least in the Western world, is meaning. Because if you think about it, everyone in Western societies today has access to pleasure. But very few, and you can notice this in your own life, very few actually pursue a meaning. So what is usually rebellious is what's rarer. So if everyone can have pleasure, and this is not to say that pleasure is bad, it's just to say that if most people are not happy, it's not because they don't have pleasure. Because usually in Western societies, they already have pleasure. But what makes pleasure pleasant is actually meaning. So you can say that having pleasurable things, which is money, which is sex, which is a good social life, a good fulfilling social life, you can say that those things are not pleasant. They are, but they become pleasant when you couple them with meaning. Because if you randomly bombard yourself with pleasure, it literally doesn't make sense. When you just bombard yourself with pleasure, you are just trying to sedate yourself from your life, from the pain you feel, from your own internal landscape of emotions and feelings. But when you couple pleasure with meaning, it becomes meaningful, which might make sense, but what this means is it becomes way more engaging and you feel alive. The reason why most people can feel alive, even if they have pleasure, is they lack meaning. So some people also lack pleasure, even in Western societies, because some people just can't get pleasure. There are these kind of people, but usually for 95% of people, their problem is not a lack of pleasure, it's a lack of meaning. If you think about it, the world profits from your emptiness. Because when you're empty, when you are disconnected, you consume more. And you consuming more is usually what companies are looking for. They are looking for you to consume more so that they earn more. So in modern world, it makes sense that most people are empty and feel a lack of meaning, because a lack of meaning usually brings people to pleasure without meaning. For most of human history, meaning came from outside of ourselves, and this could go from God to love, to your country, to your duty, your job, anything you like, quite literally. But these are all things that are outside of yourself, of your ego. The thing is, modernity told us you are free. You can quite literally be anything you like. But what it didn't tell us is, if you are free, it means nothing matters. Now, for some people, this sounds like a victory, because if nothing matters, you can do whatever you like. But as you might have noticed in your own life, we don't actually crave doing what we like. We crave doing things that matter to us, things that fulfill something that is bigger than ourselves. Because if you're free and nothing matters, it means you are the one responsible to decide what should matter in your own life. And if you won't do this decision for yourself, reality will do it for you. Modern society is built upon that. You can do whatever you like. But for most people, this will mean drowning in pleasure in a way that doesn't even feel meaningful to them, that doesn't even give them fulfillment. Because freedom without direction is actually paralysis. The paradox of modern world is that we have more knowledge than ever, but less wisdom. We have more connection than ever, but less intimacy. We have more progress, but less purpose. What we lack is a why, a strong why that motivates everything we do. So how do you stop starving for meaning? Because this is the question of this whole video. If the problem is not the fact that you are distracted, but the fact that you lack meaning, how do you find meaning? Well, you simply give instead of taking. Now, what does this mean? This means you give the most precious resource that you have with yourself. And this is not money. It is your attention. Your attention is quite literally the greatest gift you can make in this world. And it's a gift that doesn't only benefit other people and external reality, it also benefits you as long as you give this resource to what matters. But like we have said, what matters can change from individual to individual. There's not a single way to understand purpose, to understand what matters, because it's what matters to you. But as soon as you find something that matters to you, it will probably matter other people. And these people will become your community. So a community is basically more people that care about the same thing. And so what do? You just give them your attention without expecting anything in return. And if you only do so, you will understand by yourself what actually matters to you, because you will try to give your attention to things that actually don't matter. So you will make mistakes in this sense. But the more mistakes you make in this sense, the more you will clearly know what actually matters to you, which will be what matters to other people, and these people will become your community. And serving these people will become your whole life mission, because these will give you unity. Meaning is just saying, this matters. When you say so, you give your attention. And when you give your attention to something, it grows. And what grows is what your life will look like. So you have this enormous power just with your single action of paying attention to something or someone. And just like you can do this with what matters, what doesn't matter won't receive your attention. And what won't receive your attention will die. And so you will automatically kill what doesn't matter to you. The only problem, you have to try for yourself. You have to say for yourself what matters to you. And this will take time. You won't find purpose in reality. Reality won't just hand you purpose. Or better, it will do it, but it will never be something that is truly yours. You have to find it by yourself. You have to create it by yourself. Reality will give you the building bricks to create your purpose, to create what matters to you. But it won't give it to you. And whatever reality will give it to you and will convince you that is your purpose will never be your purpose. So bro, I hope this video was useful, and if you found value, just consider subscribing to the channel because I'm a small channel and this truly helps. And if you want more from me, you can check out my X for daily psychology and frameworks to perform better while enjoying your journey. You can also check out my free newsletter, Flow. The links are down below. And if you want personalized help, one-on-one, I have a one-on-one coaching program where I help people do all of this, because as soon as you find meaningful pursuits, you just automatically eliminate distractions in your own life because they don't matter to you no more. So if you want me to help you do literally that, just comment the word flow state down below and I'll send you more details. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.